through the uphill. Oh, that's wide, and that's too wide. Also from Chase Black, as you can see, it catches out even the best drivers. And this lap time for sure won't be any improvement. So we switch our attention to Jack Dennison, who also needs less than a tenth now to go ahead of Luis Rodriguez at the top of the timing stand or at the top of the timing tower. Take provisional pole away from Rodriguez. That's wide, just back in time. That's on the absolute limit for Jake Dennison. Let's see, one more corner to go, the downhill onto the Sam Posey straight. Onto the start finish now, passing the pit entry on the right across the start finish line. Can he improve? The answer is yes, he can, but not by enough. Improving by 1/1000th of a second, but it is an improvement on the ragged edge. Jack Dennison, if anything, he's super consistent. Here's our provisional pole sitter, Luis Rodriguez. Don't count him out either for an improvement. Of course, if he can put that benchmark further away from the rest, he'll drive a little easier come the rest of this session, and he does. 50.470 puts that benchmark a tenth and a half almost further away from the rest. The gap now over a tenth to Chase Black, and almost 2/10 of a second to Jack Dennison. They now need to find even more time to promote themselves up the order. But look at how condensed this field is. This might be one of the most competitive fields we've had in, well, quite a while. Luis Rodriguez ahead of Chase Black by a tenth. Then it's 200ths to Jack Dennison, excuse me, who has improved. Then it's 800ths of a second to Jake Drake, and only 500ths of a second to Stefan Waller. Then it's a tenth of a second to AJ Masek, 200ths of a second to Andrew Berrien, 300ths of a second to Orion Collins, a tenth of a second to Ishfaq Azam, then a tenth of a second to Haynes, and then another tenth of a second to Uranza. So no gap at the moment in this field bigger than a tenth of a second. This might be the strongest field that I've seen in quite a while at the One Line Racing Center. We're in for a belter, that's for sure. Jack Dennison once again on board on the uphill, has improved his second now, but look at that, the biggest gap is at the front of the field, 2/10 of a second. Luis Rodriguez has improved his time once again. Can Jack Dennison follow him and do exactly the same? Needs 2/10 of a second to go to top. He can't, but he's slowly but surely finding time, keeps improving. Top times, like I said, during the pre-qualifying was a 50.2, so there's still time in there for Luis Rodriguez. But that is already close to the absolute limit of this car. Jack Dennison needs to find that tenth and a half, just over. Can he put that benchmark further away once again? The answer is no, he can't. Into turn one, big bend, goes on forever and ever and ever. Then into the left-hander, the right-hander. You might think, well, he's just saying that because that's where the corner goes. No, that's literally what these corner names are. Left-hander, right-hander, and onto the Paul Newman straight, which isn't actually straight. You're gonna have to go and have a word with the people over at the Lime Rock Park circuit, because they call something a straight when it isn't straight. Then through the uphill where you get lights on the exits where you unload the car, then through West Bend, and then through the downhill. This was a belter of a lap once again from Luis Rodriguez. Did he improve his time? 50.361 is what he's on. 50.361 is what he stays at. Jack Dennison also still on the 50.539, minute left in qualifying. not a long circuit, this one. 1.5 miles long. Just over. Therefore, we see these quite short lap times. But even though this circuit is so short, it is a joy to watch. IMSA comes back here every year. They make it a GT3 only round, which is obviously a smart decision, because you cannot have GTPs and GT3s running around here at the same time doing multi-class. That's just too dangerous. Track is too short. You won't have enough cars, or you will have too many cars for the amount of space you have on track. It'll be absolute traffic heaven, and they'll be waiting for a massive incident to happen. But for these Mazda cars, these Formula Mazdas, it's a perfect track. Waller has completed his qualifying. Jay Craig is on his final lap now. Ishfaq Azam comes no higher than 9th. Matt Haynes comes no further than 10th. Can Alex Uranza maybe jump up the order a little? Can Jack Dennis jump up the order a little? No, he can't. Goes no higher than 2nd on the grid. Then it stays black, no higher than 3rd on the grid. Can Jay Craig find an improvement? Needs a 10th.5 to jump 3 cars here, but there's a driver off track ahead of him, annoyingly on the apex. That's never nice, even though he's not in the way. It will be a distraction. Jay Craig across the line, 50.684. It won't be an improvement for Jay Craig, and that is qualifying finished. Luis Rodriguez takes the pole position at Lime Rock Park. Jack Dennison, who qualified as the top seed for this event, in 2nd, and then Chase Black in 3rd. And then it's Stefan Waller in 4th. Jay Craig 5th. But this is such a condensed field. Well then, a little time for these drivers to regroup themselves, relax a little before we go into the race, so you at home can do the same. Grab or top up your drink. Grab some popcorn, because you're in for an absolute belter. 8/10 is what separates P1 to P11. Alrighty, here we go then. It's Luis Rodriguez and Jack Dennison on the front row. 2nd row, the great Chase Black and Stefan Waller. Jay Craig and Andrew Byrne on the 3rd row. AJ Massig, Ryan Collins on the 4th row. Ishfaq Azam, Matt Haynes on the 5th row. And last on the grid is Alex Uranza, waiting for the 6 red lights then to go on until we're underway here at this 1.5 mile circuit. There are the 6 red lights. There they're out. And we're underway for 30 minutes of racing in the Formula Mazda cars. Good start for our pole sitter, Luis Rodriguez. Behind that, Jack Dennison with a good start. Chase Black in 3rd, Stefan Waller 4th, Jay Craig 5th, AJ Massig 6th, Ryan Collins 7th, Ishfaq Azam 8th, Andrew Berrien dropping quite a couple of positions at the start here. Matt Haynes in 10th and Alex Ronza staying where they were before. Right then, here we go through the uphill. Hopefully everyone taking it nice and easy on this first lap. There we go, it looks beautiful. All these 11 Formula Mazdas getting through there successfully. And now it's just settle in and get race ready. It's one thing to put down a quick lap time in qualifying, but it's a complete other to put down a good lap time in the race and keep doing that for 30 minutes straight. That's what they'll be looking forward to now. Alright, third or second lap of the race done. Jack Dennison, 7/10 is the gap to Luis Rodriguez. If you saw the gaps in qualifying, the biggest gap was surprisingly from P1 to P2. All gaps were either a tenth or less. Gap to the front was 1.5 to almost 2 tenths. Ishfagazam with a little bit of a mistake that allows Alex Oranza and Andrew Berrien through. Ryan Collins, we said he was heating up, but tonight once again has been proven not to be his night. Stefan Waller in fourth. Looking at the back of Chase Black, who's right up the backside of Jack Dennison. Oh, there's the contact, and they both go round. Can Jack Dennison save it? Yes, he can. No, he can't. There's also contact with an innocent Stefan Waller. Oh, goodness me. Stefan Waller, I feel for him. Did nothing wrong there. Took the outside, and in an attempt to save it, Jack Dennison makes contact with Stefan Waller, and therefore, instead of gaining 2 positions, he loses a further 2, but crucially stays in 4th, so doesn't lose too many positions with that. And can go and chase after AJ Masick and Jake Craig now. Black, here he comes, 2 for 1 here. Andrew Berrien the first one, Ishfagazam the next one to take off. Chase Black trying it into turn 1, running Ishfagazam a bit deep. Saw him coming, got unsettled a little bit. The better exit though with that wider line for Azam coming back on the inside of turn 2. That is beautifully done from Ishfagazam. That is some type of racecraft that is shown there. Chase Black's gone off again. My goodness, that isn't Chase Black, that's Andrew Berrien who's gone off. Chase Black is still behind Ishfagazam, who's been picking up positions left, right and centre. But beautiful racing between the two. First through Big Bend, running a little bit deep, Ishfagazam, but coming back around the outside with the better exit speed, then the inside for the left-hander, consolidating a 7th position. Just keeping him behind through the right-hander onto Paul Newman straight. Gap is still less than a 1/10 of a second. Chase Black, now that I'm talking about it, has overtaken Ishfagazam. We're looking at the battle between Stefan Waller, AJ Masick and Ryan Collins. This is the 3-way scrap for the last position on the podium. Meantime, Luis Rodriguez 5 seconds ahead of Jake Craig. We're only 5 minutes into this race. Yeah, the gap is massive at the front of the field to say the least. on board with AJ Masek. Don't touch the inside curb. That unsettles the car, and that's what we've seen. Well, quite a lot in the race so far. That's where most drivers have been caught out. Matt Haynes, who had to start quite a ways down the order, is up into 5th. What a drive it has been for Matt Haynes. Not making any mistakes, keeping it consistent, up into 5th. Chase Black behind him though. Ishfaq Azam then the next one to chase him down. And then AJ Masek, but don't touch inside curbs. They unsettle the car. Boy, that is... Phew. Here we go then. On board with AJ Masek trying to chase down Azam. Fight for 5th position between Matt Haynes and Chase Black. A little bit wide on exit for Matt Haynes. That allows Chase Black to draw alongside onto the Sam Posey straight into turn 1 into Big Bend. Inside for Black. He takes that position away from Haynes. Can now go chase down Orion Collins. Had a difficult opening of this race, but is looking at a spot on the podium. Of course, early doors here still. Still, Luis Rodriguez keeps increasing his lead. This is the battle for 8th. On board with 9th place, Jack Dennison, who was much further up the order earlier on this race, but due to mistakes and some contact in turn 1, he's a lot further down the order than he was hoping for. He's 4/10 behind AJ Masek. Oh, Ishfaq Azam with another mistake. Another 90-degree spin. Jack Dennison. 3/10 behind AJ Masek. Takes the inside for turn 1. It was an opportunistic move. I thought it was a little bit too far back. But he drew his way halfway alongside. Enough at least for AJ Masek to have a think about it. He's shown AJ that he's there. He's made him look. Minutes left in this race. Jack Dennison still behind AJ Masek, and those inside curves, you can see it on board with Jack Dennison, are proving to be so tricky. You really just want to stay off them. Here is our leader, Luis Rodriguez. 5.4 second gap still. And it's a further 2.1 seconds down to Stefan Waller. Ryan Collins 1.1 seconds back on the third place driver. Chase Black in 5th, then AJ Masek in 6th. Jack Dennison in 7th, trying to make his comeback. Alex Uranza in 8th, Ishfaq Azam 9th, Andrew Berry in 10th, and Matt Haynes in 11th. AJ Masek. Still a 5.6 second lead for Luis Rodriguez. No feed there for a second, but it remains Jack Dennison now ahead of AJ Masek. Let's see if he can do something. Comes Jay Craig, 5.8 seconds back on Luis Rodriguez. That's 1.7 seconds to Stefan Waller. The field is spreading out a little. Even though we did see our closest grid in ages at the One Line Racing Center. 8 tenths between P1 and P11. Boy, would I like to see that every Community Cup. Great quality drivers. I mean, if Jack Dennison is down in 6th, the man who qualified himself in 1st for this event. Oh, Ishfaq Azam, with a little bit of a moment, saves it though. Almost halfway through this race now. Ishfaq Azam half a second behind Alex Uranza. It's still Luis Rodriguez though, leading the way, almost 6 seconds ahead of Jay Craig. Gaps at the minute, about 1 second to 2 seconds, what we're seeing across the field. Smallest gap between Uranza and Azam for 8th and 9th on the grid. Here is that battle between Azam Also a close battle is Ryan Collins and Stefan Waller. 6/10 is the gap though from Azam to Uranza. Let's see if he can close that down. A little bit of a mistake coming out of the downhill from Uranza. The slipstream will make that gap come down to about half a second here. And then once again, a little wide into turn 1 goes Azam. Seems to be struggling quite a little with that turn 1, or just has a different line. Wide on the entry, cutting back. Just getting the better exit. But crucially, I think for most drivers, it's just a case of stay off those curves. Azam, I didn't expect him to be that close that early. A little bit of a mishap from Uranza. Uranza goes onto the grass, going on to turn 2. Into the left-hander. And that battle is now done. Azam finally passed Uranza. We focus our attention, or we switch our attention to Ryan Collins and Stefan Waller now. That gap is now less than a second, 7/10. Not close enough for Ryan Collins to really try anything, but I mean, this is more than close enough to keep Stefan Waller at least on his toes. Same is really the case for Stefan Waller on Jake Craig. 2.3 seconds is not a gap that is very comfortable for Jake Craig. It's a gap that you're just about breaking away. As soon as the gap, I think, gets above 3 seconds, driver behind can't really look at your lines anymore, can't follow your lines anymore. So you break away a little easier. Is Luis Rodriguez. It's been a quiet race, let's be honest, from an action point of view. Quite a couple of mistakes at the start of this one, but now drivers getting consistent, getting into the groove of things. 11 minutes left here. Smallest gap we have in the field, 9/10 of a second. Luis Rodriguez is now starting to catch up to some traffic. We would see this happen a lot earlier usually, but Matt Haynes, not the easiest to overtake here. You can see the difference between our leader and P11, not that big. And also Matt Haynes still has some to drive for. Andrew Berrien is still only 4.2 seconds up the road from him. So he'll be hoping to get close to him. Stefan Waller. Oh, he's made a mistake. Stefan Waller has made a mistake and he's allowed Ryan Collins onto the podium. Ryan was behind him for quite a while. Like I said, those 2.3 seconds, more than enough to keep someone honest. And if he makes a mistake, you're there to pick up the pieces. And that's what Ryan Collins has smartly done. Luis Rodriguez trying to overtake lapped cars now. Hopefully there'll be helping him with that? Yes, they are. Braking nice and early, slotting in to the slipstream of Luis Rodriguez. Now Chase Black chasing down Orion Collins. For the podium, Orion Collins has about 9 more minutes to hang on here to the podium. Oh, that inside curve. You really don't want to touch them, you want to stay off them. Chase Black taking all the risk. It is giving him a little bit of lap time here, but it's so much risk you're taking for so little rewards. However, if it goes well, you'll be a hero. If it goes wrong, you'll be a villain. At the moment, Chase Black is the hero. Slowly but surely gaining on Orion Collins. Gap is 0.8 of a second, 0.7 of a second now. If you could just keep that gap the same, we'll keep Orion at least honest. Now you might ask me some questions about driver attendance. Where's Tony Wen? Well, Tony Wen isn't here. Tony is racing. We wish him all the best at Eagles Canyon and his Spec Miata. So all the best to Tony Wen. We hope he can pick up some victories over the weekend on the real track. Chase Black, half a second the gap now to Orion Collins. We're getting to the business end of this race. Drivers will start to take more and more risk. We'll see a bit more mistakes maybe creep in again. Desperation starting to creep in for some drivers, wanting to gain that extra spot. Jack Dennison only 1.1 away from a top 5 too. But he's tried to chase down none other than Stefan Waller. So that's not an easy task either. Oh, oversteer for Chase Black. Loses him just about a 10th. Here is Chase Black. Down the inside then, Orion Collins for the last spot of the podium. Chase Black has done it. Orion Collins once again staring at the back of the car to get onto the podium. Got given that position when Stefan Waller made a mistake in third. But what Orion has done well so far this evening is just staying mistake-free. Knowing the curse of the commentator, he's now going to make a massive mistake, but let's hope he can just stay clean, do what he's been doing so far, pick up a very respectable 4th place too. Don't forget that, if you look at what he's up against, 4th here is for sure nothing to be sad about. Heads the gap now. Chase Black has been able to overtake Orion and drive away from him too. Less than 5 minutes to go now in this race. Closest battle on track now is this one. Jack Dennison on the back of Stefan Waller. It's not been the easiest races after he's dropped out of the podium positions for Stefan Waller. Now under pressure from Jack Dennison, who's still trying to make his comeback. Remember, Jack Dennison came out of nowhere, puts in a P1 lap time to qualify himself for this event. Last lap time, 50.8. Rapid, absolute rapid. Rapid Jack Dennison. On the back of Stefan Waller's. 2/10 is the gap. Look at the difference in front end on those cars. Stefan Waller gonna be under attack here at the end of the Sam Posey straight. He's gonna defend the inside. He has 3.5 minutes to hang on it. Can he even survive the first attack from Jack Dennison? Round the outside of Big Bend. Keeps going on. The exit will be for Jack Dennison. But Stefan Waller defends that successfully. First attack from Jack Dennison. Not successful. We go again, 2/10. Look at that slipstream working. Look at that slipstream working, getting sucked to the back of that Formula Mazda. So once again, he's going to have to go around the outside. And once again, Stefan Waller defends that successfully. Oversteer for Jack Dennison. We're close to only 3 laps to go here. Might be even 4 here. No, 3 laps to go for sure. 3 laps to go for Jack Dennison. 3 and a bit laps to go actually, to try and overtake a quick and smart Stefan Waller. There was a little bit of a mistake, getting close to the back of that Formula Mazda ahead of now on. Here we go, Jack Dennison splitting the gap on the inside. Waller defends. Waller goes deep though. This is the chance that Jack Dennison needed. Tried to cut underneath Stefan Waller. He can't. The inside once again for Waller. Jack Dennison is going to try and get the better exit out of the left-hander. Set himself up for the short Paul Newman straight between the right-hander and the uphill. Slipstream doing his work. You can't go side by side here, can you? No, Jack Dennison decides not to do that. Has to lift. Wait for that gap's opened. Back up to 4/10 of a second. It's still Luis Rodriguez at the front of the field. That's an 8-second gap. That's not really interesting anymore. He just needs to bring that car to the finish. This is the battle for 5th position between Stefan Waller and Jack Dennison. He's been trying, he's had his attempts already, but Stefan Waller putting that car in the exact right place is making that Formula Mazda as wide as it can be. Here we go uphill for a second to last time. Luis Rodriguez is on the last lap. These two have got 1.5 laps to go. Here is our leader. He'll just get that car to the finish. Through the left-hander he goes. What we really want to see is this battle between Stefan Waller and Jack Dennison. We'll get back to Luis Rodriguez once he gets to the start-finish line. He gets Stefan Waller to defend. I don't think it was necessary there. Jack Dennison was, I think, a little too far back to really have a proper look. But he knows Stefan Waller is looking in his mirrors. It's been a stellar drive from Luis Rodriguez. Qualified himself in second with just 1 attempt. He's coming to the line to take his maiden victory in the Community Cup. And he wins ahead of Jay Craig in second, who holds off Chase Black, a very fast chasing Chase Black. Ryan Collins not on the podium. It looked for a little while like he was going to pick up a podium. Stefan Waller, Jack Dennison, the run to the line. They're going to be side by side to the run. It's going to be a photo finish. It's going to be Stefan Waller by 200ths of a second. Jack Dennison misses out on a 5th place. It'll be all parties and smiles in the Stefan Waller camp. Jack Dennison misses out by 200ths of a second. By far his best attempt. Sadly, it came just too little, too late. It's AJ Masick in 7th, Azam in 8th, Uranza 9th, Andrew Berry in 10th, and Matt Haynes in 11th. Phew, take a breather, guys. That was a absolute beauty of a Community Cup. These were the standings. Jay Craig on 43, ahead of Luis Rodriguez. Luis Rodriguez takes 25 points home now. I think these are the updated standings, excuse me. So this is how it stands as we are. Jay Craig in first, ahead of Luis Rodriguez, taking his first victory on debut. Chase Black in 15th, Ryan Collins in 4th. Or Chase Black 15 points in 3rd this race. Then Ryan Collins in 4th, now 22 points. 18 points for Anthony Wen. He wasn't here today. He's racing in the SPAC Miatas on the real track. So he can bring some trophies to show next week, or in 2 weeks time, excuse me, at the One Line Racing Center. Ishfaq Azam in 6th. Took only a disappointing 4 points here today. Joey Dom wasn't here either. AJ Masick in 8th on 12 points, together with Jack Dennison now. Expected a bit more from the man who qualified himself on top, but it is how it is. Stefan Waller picking up 10 points, climbing to 10th. Matt Haynes on 2 points, together with Alex Uranza in 11th. And then Leopold Atencio in 13th on 1 point. That was it for Community Cup from the One Line Racing Center. It's been, once again, amazing to have you alongside us. Don't forget, Luis Rodriguez takes home the win. What can he do in 2 weeks' time? Well, come back to see then. Thank you for joining in. I will see you in 2 weeks' time for another Community Cup. Goodbye.